Hello and welcome to We Poets. My name is Sally Baker and I'm the host of We Poets. We Poets is a poetry show for boys and girls between the ages of 6 and 13 years old. So if you would like to be on We Poets, please have your parents or your school teacher call me. I'm always looking for new poets to come and read their poetry. Also, I always interview an adult guest who tells young people something about his or her job or career that young people can pursue when they graduate from college. Today I have a family of 3, a child, a father, and a grandfather. So this is the first time I've had a family of 3 on the program, so I know it's going to be great. So here we go. Hello there, Ryan.
Hi.
Could you tell us your name and how old you are, please?
Hi, my name is Ryan and I am 11 years old.
And where do you go to school?
I go to Oxford Elementary.
Good. And what do you like best about Oxford Elementary School?
I like how all the teachers are nice.
Good, good. And what's your favorite subject in school?
Recess.
What?
Recess.
Oh, no, I mean subject now, not recess.
Fine. Probably reading.
Reading? What do you like to read? What kind of books?
My grandpa's reading me the Odyssey.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Your father writes poetry too?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Good.
Okay, sometimes.
Does mom write poetry?
I don't know. I haven't seen her in a while.
Oh, okay, okay. So how many poems have you written for us today?
1 poem.
1 poem. Okay, look right there at the camera and let's hear it, please.
Superpowers. My superpowers are like the trees in a forest. They grow tall, but they bend, but do not break. My superpowers run fast, not slow, and not slow. My superpower, even when it snows, it grows. It soars high, like my superpower,
That's all right.
My superpower is like a plane. It soars high and never crashes. It dashes like a cheetah running. My superpower climbs high like a panda. My superpower is loyal like a golden retriever. My superpower is great. My superpower helps me push through. My superpower helps me grow.
Great, that's a great poem. And what topics do you like to write about when you write your poetry?
Mostly about what I can do, what I can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just like writing poetry.
Good, good. So tell me some more about yourself. What do you like to do at school besides study and interact with your classmates?
I like to play with my friends a lot. We play with tag, Sandman, Foursquare, wall ball.
Good, good. Do you play a musical instrument?
I play the ukulele.
Oh, good. What kind of songs do you like to play on it?
I like to play Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, Ode to Joy.
Oh, good, good. Have you performed anywhere?
I performed it with the Berkeley Symphony at my school.
Wonderful. Tell me about the symphony at the school.
It was pretty fun. I got to meet the guy that tells you all the commands, when to do it, when to stop, and it was pretty fun.
Good, good,
The
good.
conductor.
Uh-huh. How about sports? What do you participate in?
I don't really participate in any sports besides just throwing a ball around, but that's really it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's okay. Now, you brought some artwork, right?
Yes,
that you
I
did?
have.
Let's see that, please.
All right, let me grab it.
Okay.
One sec.
You have 3 pieces, right. Hold that up to camera 3 and hold it up long enough so they can get a good shot of it. Tell us what this is now.
This is one of my first pieces of art that I did when I just got my whiteboard. It's a picture of this MCU character, Marvel Comics United, called Deadpool.
Oh.
He's one of my favorite Marvel characters.
Good, good.
And I think he's cool because all the tools he's got his katana, that katana right there.
Uh-huh.
He's got his little bell, this guy.
Uh-huh.
And I just like his overall, all the details he has.
Good, good. Okay, let's see your second one, please.
My second one's the same picture, just kind of in more color.
Oh, red.
I colored him He's usually colored red. This is the process of coloring him red.
Uh-huh.
And so I colored, and he also has black, he has a katana, he has his little strap, his belt, and all that, yeah.
Good.
Next piece of
You're a
art.
great artist.
Thank you. And this is a picture of one of Deadpool's superhero friends.
Ooh.
His name's Wolverine.
Uh-huh.
And he has these 3 claws that come out of his wrists.
Ooh.
And yeah, and when he retracts them, they go all the way back to here.
Ooh, up to his elbow, huh?
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's where they like hide, but it always hurts him when he pushes out his claws.
Uh-huh.
Because it's like tearing through like bone and all that.
Ooh. Now, have you taken any interesting trips anywhere?
Actually, I just got back from one.
Where did you go?
Yesterday, I went to Slide Ranch with my classmates.
Oh, what'd you do up there?
I got a milk goat. I got a pet sheep and a goat.
Oh, what was it like to milk that goat?
It was kind of better than I suspected.
Oh.
I thought it was gonna feel weird. It just feels like a rubber balloon.
Ooh. How long did it take?
Not long at all.
About 5 minutes?
5-10 minutes at most.
Ooh, wow. What else did you do up there?
Got to build a tent. I also got to go down to the beach.
Oh, and what else?
And I also I went down there at low tide, saw all these sea anemones, like some crabs, and those are like blob things that stay on the rocks.
Ooh, bet that was fun. Did you take pictures?
No, I didn't really like the blob things. They looked weird.
Oh, yeah. I don't blame you.
I get these weird little tingly things. It's a sensory thing.
Uh-huh. Now, when you graduate from high school and college, what do you think you want to be? What's your career?
I want to be an engineer, and as a side hobby, I want to be an artist.
Good. Why do you want to be an engineer?
It's because I've always found it, in particular, I'm able to make stuff that other people don't really make.
Oh, like what?
Like, I took this STEM kit and made like a little arm gauntlet thing.
Oh,
Yeah, and I pressed a little button and a little thing came down on my hand.
wow, you like to make different things, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to make it differently than the instructions say.
Oh, good. I bet you're going to be a good instructor, too. Now, is there anything else you'd like to tell me before I have your father and grandfather come on?
Good luck to them.
Yes.
Good luck. I hope they do well.
I hope they do well, too. You did an excellent job, and thank you for coming, okay?
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Welcome back to We Poets. I'm Sally Baker, the host, and now I have another important poet here that I'm going to introduce you to. His name is Jacob Shaddock. You just heard from his son read his poetry, and next we're going to hear his father read his poetry. So we've got a family of 3 poets here tonight on We Poets. Hello, Jacob.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
I couldn't be better.
Good. Is this your first time on TV?
It is, yes.
Well, I know you're going to do a wonderful job. Your son has been on 2 times now, and he writes wonderful poetry. I know you're proud of him.
Very.
Good,
very.
good. Now, who introduced you to poetry?
My father introduced me to poetry. He has always written and, got the creative juices flowing. And it took root and just kind of blossomed from that point.
Good. You remember your first poem?
I do. It's actually hung up in a bathroom in our house.
Oh.
It was actually to my mother,
Uh-huh.
who it was Mother's Day, so fitting occasion.
Do you remember it?
I don't remember it
That's
by
all
heart.
right. That's all right. Have you written about your father or your son?
I have, yes.
How many poems about each one?
Oh, I'd say at least 50.
50?
At least 50 about each.
Wow.
Yeah,
Have you had any of your poems published?
I have had one published by my grandmother when I was about 5 or 6 years old.
Oh, really? Do you remember the name of it?
I don't.
That's all right. We forget and we write a lot, you know.
Indeed we do.
Now, what inspires you to write your poetry?
I'm a big situational inspiration person. So, kind of wherever I'm at, if there's something that I see that I deeply resonate with, that's where I derive most of my inspiration from. Um, a lot of it comes from experiences that I have in day-to-day life. I see a good deed, I see someone experiencing life from a different angle, that then it changes my perspective and creates that imagery in my head. And then just the words kind of follow the situation, for me at least.
Do you usually carry a booklet with you, so if you see something, you can jot something down? Or
I usually have my phone on me, so I have a notepad that
yeah.
I can just quickly give myself a voice memo to remind myself of the inspiration that I saw or witnessed,
Yes.
or what I wanted to say about it.
Do you like to go out into the woods and be with nature and write about nature?
Oh, absolutely. It's one of my biggest inspirations, just being in Berkeley and having all the, nature exposure that we have here is very uh, is very big as far as like creating a environment for my poetry inspiration.
Good, good. Do you write about homelessness?
I do. I have written several pieces in the past, and just my background in Berkeley and who my parents are, deeply adds to that narrative, kind of like the the style of life that we don't get to see as much.
Right.
The stigmatism
Yes.
and judgment.
Yes. Now you brought a poem, right?
Yes.
Would you like to read it, please?
I would absolutely.
Okay, be our guest.
This poem I wrote a couple of days ago, and it was based on a camping trip that I took with my son and his class just a few days ago. It's called Midnight Masquerade. In a split second, galactic cameras flash, known to us by the words planet twinkle. Ebbs and flows, tides high and tides low, all in a planetary dance, with the masked moon in tow. Has ground control reached Major Tom? What say the man on the moon to the mogul on Earth with aspirations for Mars? In the eternal galactic dance is the like a moonlit masquerade. The language spoken is from the beginning of time, a sequence, a flow, a rhythm as old as time itself. I ask myself, if people look to the stars for answers, who do the stars look to? If you go with the flow, welcome to the masquerade. May the planets get your good side as the dance whisks you away.
Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, very nice.
Thank you.
Very proud of you. Very proud of you. Now tell me some more about yourself. What do you like to do for fun?
I like to go hiking. I've always been a very big nature person.
Good.
And big into sports.
What sports?
I think there's very few that I haven't done.
Really?
Growing up, I was always biking and mountain biking. In high school, I did the rowing team.
Oh.
I did tennis, lacrosse, mixed martial arts, a little bit of choreography. I've had a very wide array of athletic exposure, as it were.
Yes.
And it helps to draw back on those memories too.
Now, have you traveled anywhere?
I've traveled to Italy.
Good. How did you like Italy?
Italy was probably one of my most inspirational poetic adventures, just because of how the culture is still in the towns and in the environment itself. You know, it's almost a glimpse back in time.
Yes, I like Italy too.
Which is so beautiful, and the architecture and the history
and the food.
Oh, the food, most definitely.
Yes.
I've never quite, experienced something like it, and I would absolutely love to go back.
Oh yes, well you must.
Oh yeah.
Any other countries you've traveled to?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
What's on your bucket list?
Ireland, Norway, Canada, Egypt, and Israel.
Ooh, you've got a nice list there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see the world for all of its views and exposure.
Good. I was in Norway, and I like Norway. It's a beautiful country too.
It is. It is from what I've seen, and I can't wait to go.
Good. Now let's see here. What, if anything, is the difference between Jacob the poet and Jacob the person?
Well, Jacob the poet is very creative and is very inspired by everything around him, but chooses in which ways to express that creativity and to kind of channel the wording to create the image of the poem that I'm creating at that time. Jacob the person is the chronological time frame of experiences that I can draw on. And going back to places like Italy and beaches and all these different places that I've been throughout my life, gives me that window into that experience, into those moments, the scenery, the smells, the tastes, all the senses. So they're different, but one aids the other in the end.
Now, did your poetry change or shift when living at Tahoe?
It did. I definitely did notice a lot of my inspirations were more nature-based than here in Berkeley. But at the same time, I would say that it didn't really change the way that I created. It just kind of changed the imagery I used and the storytelling that I portrayed. So while the mental imagery was different, the build up and the inspiration to the poem stayed really the same.
Okay. Well, we're out of time for your segment. We have to have time for your father to come on and tell about his experiences. But I want to thank you so much for coming, and good luck in the future.
Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome.
All right.
Welcome back to We Poets. My name is Sally Baker, and we're continuing with my interview with 3 generations of Shaddocks. Hello, sir.
Hi.
Could you
Thank
look
you
right
so
there at
much.
the camera and tell us your name, please?
I'm David Shaddock, and I'm tickled pink.
You're tickled pink.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you so much for providing us the opportunity.
Good. How long have you been writing poetry?
Oh, over 60 years now. I've been a serious poet for 60 years. Yeah, that's.
And I bet you've had a lot of things published.
Well, I have had a few. Yeah.
About how many?
Well, I've had 4. I've got my 4th book is in press. It'll be out in the fall.
And what's the name of it?
Well, it's called Tehachapi Pass.
Oh.
And the book before that is called The Book of Splendor, New and Selected Poems on Spiritual Themes. And this is a book before that called Vernal Pool. And then my first book, which came out many years ago now, is called Dreams Are Another Set of Muscles. So I've got all those books out.
You have been a busy man.
Well, I try and keep busy.
What can we learn about poetry from children?
Yeah, well, I thought about that when you called me. So, what do I have? What an old guy like me has to say to we poets? But, I thought, remember that you are so close to the source of poetry. Don't think that poetry is something that happens in, grown-up worlds like colleges and stuff. Kids have a door open to their imagination, which is a natural source of poetry. They see the world is alive. They have the fun and play with words. They like the sounds of words. And they can create thoughts out of their own imagination. So they're all really, really close. The other thing I would say to young poets is, just like you have to pick up your socks when you take them off, poetry is a lot of work, and it's not just the fun and play, but it's also the work of doing your best to get the poem together. So it's both play and work, and I think it's a great way to learn.
Great.
I brought a poem I collected 50 years ago.
50 years?
When I was a teacher at University of California, Berkeley childcare, and I had a big file of poems and stories that the kids had written, and I was looking at them this morning. I thought, I still know this guy, Kwame Payne.
Oh.
He's a teacher. He's still a friend of my kids, and he's my older kids, and he's a teacher in the Piedmont School District. So this Kwame wrote this when he was 4, and I think it's
Let's hear it.
It's funny and moving.
Good.
The man covered himself up on a truck, and he worked on trucks and trucks and trucks. Now he went over the bridge and went over the bridge and bridge and bridge and bridge, and he walked over the bridge to see such fun a walking, talking robot. And he saw a monster staring at the robot, and he ran as far as he could because he thought the robot was a monster. And he ran and ran till he went to his house, and he told his mom that there's no more robots, and you don't need to have a house anymore. And he ran and he ran, and he said, no more monkeys in the house, so you don't have to have a house anymore. And he ran outside, and he saw no more robots and no more monsters, and they went out and played themselves, and he went out with his friends, and if you want to play with me, come out and play with me. And he said, okay, I'll come out and play with you. Then he said, no, I don't feel like it. And so he ate his dinner. And he ran back outside and played himself and ran to another friend's house. And he said, no, I don't want to play with you. And he just went back in his home and went in his room and played with his toys. And then he went back to his home and back in his home and back in his home. Okay, now he ran and he ran and he ran and he ran. In his room he ran and he ran and he ran and he ran. And in his room until he got there and he said, nothing's right in my room.
Oh, what a poem for a young person.
I looking at this today, I thought, this really demonstrates a little bit about poetry because it really tells you a lot about his life. I mean, this was 1972 in Berkeley. His mother was a very important black activist, and so there was all this running and running. I'm sure his life was in motion, and he also may have felt a little ignored by everything that was going on. But he told us about his life in such a way that he showed it rather than told it. And that's a very important thing about poetry. So he somehow, I don't think he thought of that. He just came out of him, and all the running and running and running. He's obviously a very hyper kid. So I just really loved that.
Now, is there another one you'd like to read?
Yeah, well, I'm going to read a couple of poems. You have met my kids.
Yes.
So I'm going to read, who are no longer kids, but
yes,
well, especially Jacob. This is so much fun. So this is a poem from a long time ago in a book of poems of mine that was won an award back in the 80s, or early 90s, I guess it was. But this is a poem about what it's like to hold a baby and maybe fall asleep with a baby on your chest and how that might feel. I am so cherished by the world. I've done nothing to deserve this amplitude of grace, these rhododendron blossoms in the garden, mauve to scarlet, pink laced with white. My sleepy son extends his arm beneath my neck and pulls my head to his gently breathing chest. I float on the bus gears meshing, the call and response of the neighbor's dogs, the jetliner's promise of future travel. Everything that carries me is empty. If I were not your beloved, I would fall forever. I hope that gets at that feeling.
Wonderful. Our David just had a new baby
Ah,
about 2 months ago.
oh, I should show that to him.
Yes. David's our director.
Ah, so I met him. So then here's a poem about Ryan, many years later, but still a few years ago, because this is during all those fires when everything was very smoky and you couldn't see 5 feet in front of you, called Dia de los Muertos. And there was a celebration of the Day of the Dead at the farmer's market where Ryan and I go. And so this is about that. Dia de los Muertos. Halloween at the farmer's market. Grown-ups all in masks for both smoke and COVID. Ryan came as Marshall, the healthful fire dog from Paw Patrol. Last year you could hold tarantulas or pet a python. This year the smoke is a scrim, turning the whole scene into a shadow play. The masks have yellow straps and small plastic filters that protrude like truncated fungi. Why did they all wear the same question, he asks. Our friend Barbara has a Day of the Dead altar next to her taco truck. Faded pictures of her family from Mexico City, scarves and beads, a child's mirror with a mended blue handle. How did she die? Rye wonders out loud.
Very nice, very nice.
So then I'm going to end
Okay.
with this.
Alrighty.
This is more. This is a version of the 23rd Psalm. So I'm going to read this I'm going to read this as in an homage to it being both Passover and Easter.
Okay.
Psalm 23. Even on a sunny day, death's shadow looms. A car careens, a mugger lurks, something turns up on a routine lab test. Yet here I am across the street, ready to lead my old dog for a run in the park, ready for a cool drink from the fountain. Why not believe it's your strength I lean on, that fear of your rebuke stays my greed and malice? Even the dark valleys I create for myself so far have always brightened, and the sharp pains of my losses have dulled, just as your consoling voice in my mind's ear promised. Will my kids have jobs or stay off drugs? Will my love and I have a few more unvexed years? It's your voice I hear saying, yes, we will.
Oh, how nice. What a nice poem to end our interview on.
Thank you,
But
Sally.
before we end, we're going to have your son and grandson come
Yes.
back on so we can give this shot of 3 generations of Shaddocks on We
Thank you
Poets.
so much.
So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to We Poets. I hope you've enjoyed this show that we have presented today. This is the first time I've had a family of 3 on We Poets, and I'm so pleased with you guys coming and being on and reading your poems and telling something about yourself. And good luck in the future. So let's all wave goodbye to our watching audience. Goodbye, everybody, and thanks for watching.
Thank you.